Hello everyone, welcome to this week's tutorial. So this week we're going to be making some raw nugget beads using clay with a sort of a faux stone effect to them. It's just a really cool organic looking bead that you can do so much with. So yeah, here's everything we're going to need. You're going to need some Sculpey Premo translucent. Then whatever colors you want to create with your faux stone. So I'm doing sort of a green one today. So I've got some Tiffany, some Taiga, some white, and a little bit of copper mica powder. I've got my tissue blade, and then I've got some wire for us to put the beads on. I just have these little ones, but you can really use whatever you have. It doesn't really matter because these are going to come out after they're done baking anyways. So even if you just have some like 20 gauge wire, you can use that as well instead of eye pins like what I have. But yeah, that's everything. So let's get started. So we're going to start just by dividing this in two. And then rolling it out or squeezing it out a little bit before we apply our color. So I'm just going to throw these through my Atlas 150 clay roller quickly just to flatten them out, and then we will dye them using our alcohol inks. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to go in with the Tiffany on both of them. Oops. Make sure to shake your inks before you use them, especially pastels, because the color will settle. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Taiga to this one. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix these fully in my Atlas 150. Okay, so there's our two light greens. Now what I'm going to do is take them and just dice them up. And once you have them diced up, we kind of want them in a loose pile, not too squished together, in order to stop the colors from fully sticking together at this point. And then we're going to go in with the copper mica powder and coat everything. And this is just going to add some cool metallics into the piece. So just like a couple of taps. You can always add more. And then you just go and coat. Oh yeah, I definitely need more. Once you have a nice pile like that, then we're going to go in with our white alcohol ink and coat everything on top of this. So you're welcome to put on some gloves for this part so you don't get it all over your hands. Sort of like that. And then we're going to set that aside and let that dry for a minute. While that dries, I'm just going to clean up my workstation just by putting a little bit of rubbing alcohol down here. And wiping this up with some paper towel. Okay, so that's looking dry enough. So then you're just gonna take this and form it into a cane. Just by squeezing it and then pressing it into the table until you have a nice sort of cube shape. Sort of like that. So now here's where things are going to get a little bit different than what we would typically do, because we're not going to roll this out into a slab. So we're going to start just by trimming off the outside of this cane really lightly. There's a sneak peek of what's inside, really cool. So we're just going to try to get this outside layer off as cleanly as you can until you're left with a cube that kind of looks like this. And now this is what we're going to use to make our beads. So you're going to cut some thick slices like this, and then from there we're going to cut these into sort of nuggets. So the goal is to make things as asymmetrical as you can. So I like to start just with sort of squares like this, and then you take them and sort of chop corners off just to make the shapes a little bit unusual and irregular. But we want the cuts to be really nice and clean too, so that it kind of ends up looking like a little faceted stone that you found in the wilderness. So if you're finding your clay is very soft, you can always pop it in the freezer for 10 minutes or so before doing this. That will help it just retain its shape a little bit better. So I'm trying to make sure that no two are really the same shapes, that they're all just sort of different. The only thing I'm trying to do is keep them all relatively the same size, but you don't even really have to do that. It just depends on what your goal is in the final product. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of these pieces I have here, and then I'll come back and show you how we can use these scraps as well. Okay, so I've done all my main cane, but I don't want to waste these pieces that were the outside of the cane. So what you could do with these is fold them in half so that that outside is mostly on the inside, and then you can do the same thing to these ones as well in order to just use up everything as much as possible. So you'll end up having balls like this, and you'll have a bit of the outside probably showing, which is, you know, I like that. It adds a little bit more variety to the beads as well. And then you're just doing the same sort of process where we're just trying to, you know, cut it so that it has the sort of angular, raw nugget shape. Our goal basically is we don't want any round edges on any of these pieces. One of the other things I love about creating beads is it pretty much can be a no-waste use of clay. You know, when you do slabs and then you cut into and you pull off the skeleton, you're always left with all this scrap clay. Whereas in this, when you're making beads, you can use everything. So there is no waste, there is no leftover pieces, because you can just keep rolling pieces up and cutting new ones again. So anyways, once you have all your shapes and you're happy with it, you're going to take your wire and you're just going to very carefully poke your pieces through. Just sort of like that. Look at the shape of that. Like, that's so cool. Sorry guys, my camera died halfway through that, but we're good now. Yeah, so basically I was saying for the larger ones, I really stick to sort of 3 per wire. If it's smaller, maybe I'll do 4. So we're just gonna go and take all these pieces and carefully put them on wire, making sure that we're not losing the shapes that we've made. So they should look something like this once you have them all on here. You want to make sure none of them are touching each other. But these are ready to bake. You can go and give them a final look over for their shapes. Because once you bake, like you can still kind of change their shapes after they're baked, but it's a little bit harder to do that. So just put these on a tray, ceramic tile or baking tray on some tin foil, and you can just lay them flat because they're so faceted. It doesn't matter really what side they're lying down on. And we're gonna bake them at 265 for 30 minutes. And then once we're done that, we'll come back and I'll show you different options for how you can finish these. So here's what they look like after baking. So now how you finish them is up to you. Either you can just leave them like this, or if you want, you can add some gloss varnish to them just to give them a bit of shine. So basically if you're doing that, I would just grab, you know, a paintbrush, a bit of the gloss, and then just brush it on there and let it dry. This is the one that I like to use. So that's totally optional, but I just wanted to show you guys if you wanted them to have that shine. And I just find this is easier than adding UV resin to them just because it's a lot thinner, but you'll still get a nice shine off of it. Whereas UV resin will just be a bit trickier to get a full coating on it. So yeah, let me show you some of the pieces that I made with this tutorial. So I made these earrings, so you can see I added the varnish, so there is a little bit of a shine to it now. But I just think these are so fun, and I had some little pearls, so I put that on the bottom. And then I also made this necklace, which I am obsessed with. So I just mean like the options of what you can do with these beads is just so fun. So yeah, that's this week's tutorial. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and we'll be back next week with another one. Okay, bye.